Hello, everybody. I am joining you back home. Yeah, believe it or not, back home. Last week, which feels like it flew by, I was in Mexico City. John and I were talking. Um, and then the week flew by. I'm here um, in a different part of Mexico. And then next week, I'll be in Washington, D.C. And before that, I'll be in Austin at South by Southwest EDU. So, lots of movement, lots of fun. And believe it or not, this morning, I wasn't in Lithuania per se. Wouldn't say I was in Lithuania, but where I was I was talking to how many was it, Ken? Probably 13 different companies through an accelerator called Edu Challenger. And these companies were and are in Lithuania. So it was 13 companies I was talking to, and we were going through different parts of the Ed Sales Elevation Experience. All these companies are in the education space. They happen to be in Lithuania, which is really an exciting thing for me and my family because we do want to move to Europe at some point. And so it was kind of an opportunity to get to work with some companies in the education space in Europe. So, been kind of bouncing around a lot, which is really exciting and really great for the business. A lot of great exposure. And at the same time, it's also been challenging at times for our team to maintain consistency and communication, for our family to maintain consistency and communication. But we're figuring it out. So if you're joining us live on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, Ken tells me we are live. So feel free to enter in the chat wherever you are, where you are currently, your business, your LinkedIn profile. We have a pretty active community here. So it's helpful to put where you are so that we can connect with each other and help each other out. Today, we're going to talk about how you get investment for your startup. Funding or bootstrap? Funding or bootstrap? The question is, where are you in your business? And that will help you to determine if you're looking for funding or if you're looking for bootstrapping. I'm going to get to tell you some stories about my funding experiences, and I can tell you that they were not very fun. But if you get the right funding at the right time, it could be an absolute game changer. So speaking of our community, I'm going to put up a QR code here, and you can learn more about our community here if you snap that QR code, that 3e.com. We'd love to have more members. We're approaching 200 members of our community. It's a very small, closed community on purpose. All educators, who are really trying to figure out their place in the education space and generate more leads. And we help with that. So today, we're going to talk, as I said, about getting investment for your startup, when to chase funding and when to bootstrap. And I get to work with a lot of companies who come to us and say, I just met an investor, or, I'm looking for investment. And I say, really? That's what you're spending your time on? Well, first of all, I can relate to that because I spent my second business chasing funding when, in fact, that was a giant waste of my time. Even though we got our funding, I should have been thinking about the business day and night and not raising money. So you need to know when it's time to generate investment or continue to generate leads. If you ask me, there's no bad time to generate leads. There is a bad time to generate investment. So the pros and cons of getting investment. Let's talk about the pros, okay? Capital for scaling, marketing, operations, and hiring. Easy enough. Ability to launch bigger projects faster, right? Because you've got a team. And you basically are also going to, if you've got good investors, you get access to those investors and their networks and their expertise. If you've got the right investors. Here's the cons. You give up equity and your valuation is too low. You have pressure to prioritize profits over building a strong foundation. Been there, done that. You lose flexibility to pivot and adapt. And maybe you don't need to pivot and adapt, but if you haven't figured out your lead gen system, if you haven't really figured out your business, you're going to probably still need to do some pivoting and adapting. And poorly structured deals can hurt the growth of the business. So you don't want any of those cons. Let's talk about signs that you can get from your own business that actually show you're ready for investment. One, you validated product market fit. Okay. To me, by validating the market fit, the product market fit, you've got the fire that they want to pour the gasoline on. And that's great. That's what investors are looking for. They are they in this situation. You've got a solid lead generation system that's bringing in these consistent qualified leads. Again, gasoline on top of that fire. That's what an investor is looking for. Your MVP is delivering measurable results. Gasoline, baby. You need capital to amplify a working system. A working system, not a system that hasn't proven itself yet. Investors not looking to build a system of leads to build your business. They're looking to amplify your business. Your financial metrics show scalability. Let me tell you from experience, you do not want to try and scale your business without a lead generation system, without product market fit, without a successful MVP. And you also do not want to take on investment money if you don't have those things as well, because your valuation is going to suck shit. Excuse my language. Your valuation is going to suck shit if you do not have a validated product market fit, a solid lead generation system. Your MVP is delivering results, and you're just looking for capital to amplify a system that's already working. Here are some real red flags for you that it's too soon. Other than everything I just said, you lack paying clients. Your lead generation system isn't producing results. Your business model is untested, and you're relying on funding to find your audience. Any good investor is not interested in waiting for you to find anything. You have found all of these things, and they are simply giving you money to do more of it because they want a return. If you are going to bootstrap, and I'm all in favor of everybody bootstrapping, love the bootstrapping. I met those companies today in Lithuania. They are bootstrapping. I work alongside John Gamba. I'm lucky enough to be a part of Penn's Graduate School of Education, the Milken competition. I'm a judge. So many wonderful bootstrapping companies all over the world. Literally, they're on 7 continents, that competition. Hopefully you entered into it. So If you are bootstrapping, here's what you need to do. Build and test your MVP. Do that over and over and over again. And when you build and test your MVP, you're going to validate your idea with real customers. Awesome. Set up a lead generation system, near and dear to my heart, obviously. Develop a process for consistently attracting and converting leads. Use low-cost strategies. Yes, very low cost. Somebody yesterday asked me in the Ed Sales Elevation Experience, they're about to join in our 3E9, which starts March 27th. We have 4 seats left. They said, are we going to have to pay for ads in LinkedIn? I have never paid for an ad in LinkedIn in my life. No, low cost, baby. Build credibility. Go to conferences. Talk. Comment. Show people who you are. There's no cost for that. Which leads me to focus on relationship building. You can do that on LinkedIn. You can do that in conferences. No cost to those. Obviously, you got to go to the conference. What I would say is sell early and often. This is a focus for the companies that I work with on bootstrapping. Sell early, learn often. You got to prioritize revenue generating activities like pre-selling, offering beta versions. Sell early, learn often. And the reason you sell early and you learn often is because customers tell you what's working and what's not, and then you can improvise and adjust. And you can begin to build that product that they are actually looking for, not the product that you think that they want. Those are two very different things. Sell early, learn often, listen. You should leverage automation tools. Okay, there's a lot of affordable tech out there for CRMs and for automation. If you're interested, we are very good at using High Level as a CRM. It's the High Level is probably the best CRM I've ever used, and I feel like I've used every single CRM. Ken, who's our producer in this show, will tell you that I haven't met a CRM I didn't want to try. But we are loving High Level. And Ken, you don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to think it even. We're not leaving High Level, okay? I would also encourage you to reinvest your revenue in a smart way. And that's in building systems. And obviously, to me, one of the most important systems you can invest in is a lead generation system. In our own business right now, we are thinking about what's working for us. We are interested in doing more. We are interested in doing better and not more. And that's going to be the name of the game for my business for the next 10 months. We know what is working. We are still measuring it, but we know pretty well what is working, and we are going to do more of it. And be better at it. But we're not looking for new solutions to grow our business. We're going to stick with the ones we have, and we're going to work them and be better at them. And that's a smart way to reinvest. We're also hiring folks. So if you know anybody out there who's a project manager, who's just kills project management, send them my way. Send them our way. So bootstrapping is going to give you leverage. Yeah. In the short and the long term. When you've got a proof of concept, investors are going to value your startup more. That, my friends, is leverage. You're going to have that stronger negotiating power. You're going to have control. And when you have control, you have flexibility. And you preserve the equity. That is leverage. Proof of concept gives you leverage. Stronger negotiating power gives you leverage. Control gives you leverage. Equity preservation gives you leverage. Trust me, you Might not think you want leverage that much, but you do, especially as this thing begins to grow for you. How will you know when it's growing and when the time is right for investment? You have built a lead generation system that can show scalability. Boom, easy. Come talk to us. We can help. You demonstrate consistent revenue and client acquisition metrics. We can show you those too. You know what's great for that? High level. You can create a clear growth map and a compelling story for an investor of why their money is going to go to good use, not to find something, but to fuel something. And then the last thing I'm going to say here, in terms of potentially preparing for an investment, find investors that are aligned with your mission, your vision, and your values. And when I say values, I mean your personal values. I don't hold any grudges. I don't hold anything against the investors that I had in my two businesses, but we weren't necessarily the right fits. And we didn't always have the same values. So because of that, when shit hit the fan, it was tough to see eye to eye. And the business struggled because of that. A lot at times. So I want you guys to think about a couple of things. First of all, the key takeaway here is that investment can supercharge your growth. Absolutely supercharge your growth. Hopefully you won't make some of the mistakes I made, and we just talked about them. But it's only if you're ready. If you're not ready, it's going to do the opposite of supercharge. But when you bootstrap, when you build systems like lead generation systems, when you prove your concept, when you've got the right people, John Gamba would tell you, because I asked him this question at a convention conference recently, that he believes team is the most important aspect before investment. He looks at the team. And you're really in a great position when you've got that lead generation system that can show scalability, when you can demonstrate that consistent revenue, when you've got a clear growth roadmap, and when you find investors that are aligned with your mission, your vision, and potentially your personal values. And then, after all that, guys, if you can go at it without investment or non-dilutive investment, even better, do it. Do it. The money is not always the answer when it comes to building your business. It was not the answer. It was not the right answer for me. And you cannot go wrong by following some of these steps that we just talked about. Build and test that MVP. Set up a lead generation system. Sell early, learn often. Leverage automation. Reinvest revenue wisely. If you reinvest revenue wisely, you're not going to need anybody's money, and money is not cheap. Generally comes at the expense of your bank account, your ability to make decisions in your own business, and potentially your emotional well-being. So I'm seeing a little bit of this, the success in our own business here. And I say this now, I would never, wink, wink, take on investment money. Granted, I'm in a different business than potentially a lot of the companies I'm talking to, tutoring, enrichment, ed tech startups, whatever. But I say that now, I would never take on money unless it didn't dilute me, which is another thing John Gamba firmly believes in. I can speak for him on that. So listen, guys, I'm open to questions, comments, concerns. You can feel free to put those in the chat. Sometimes when I talk about subjects like when is the right time to take on investment and bootstrapping, people reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. That's perfectly fine if you don't want to ask those questions kind of in a more public space. What's the road ahead like? So Sunday, off to Austin. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you're going to be in Austin, here is a link to the event that John and I will be hosting at South by Southwest. Hope that you guys can join us. Then Wednesday, I fly to DC. I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. For the people listening in DC, I'm looking for different folks to meet up with. So if you're looking for an actual opportunity to sit down and have some coffee somewhere in DC, I am game. I've got right now a couple meetings that I'm inching towards, plus going to the Capitals game on Friday night. Otherwise, let's talk, let's meet, let's strategize in DC. For now, I really hope that this conversation that we're having about bootstrapping and when to take investment is a valuable one to you. I'm not saying it's easy when to know how to do this, but I've given you some clear signs of when you should and when you should not take on investment. I've also given you my unfiltered opinion about why I wouldn't take on investment. And there's Paul King. Paul, I've got you in my mind right now as I discuss this. You and I have been having a really good conversation back and forth over text message and voice. And I've got you in my mind on this. When am I going to the NYC? As far as I know, the next time I'll be in NYC is in September. I think for the Milken finals, assuming they're going to be in New York. Otherwise, EdTech Week is in my sights. But a better question, Paul, when the heck are you coming to Mexico? That's up to you. So listen, everybody, I appreciate the messages that I get after I turn off the mic, but really helpful to facilitate conversation together in a situation like this where we can all support each other. Because it's it is a community of education entrepreneurs like Paul King, who's running an absolute awesome program. Paul, if you want, put in the chat there, your tutoring company, your new venture. We got babysitters down here, man. We got babysitters. My kid was on a plane when she was 4 months old, headed to Mexico. So we got babysitters down here. We got you covered. So this is a sensitive subject. I understand that when it comes to bootstrapping, when it comes to investment and taking on money. I can talk to you a lot about it if you'd like in private. I guess my advice to you, and Paul heard this yesterday, we were messaging, is the longer you can hold out, the better. And and there's JD, and I heard JD and Paul were talking, and the congratulations to Paul goes to really starting this his new program here, Neighborhood Educational Partners, which is a name we were talking about a long time ago, and he's getting it going. And let me be very clear. When you follow these steps, when you look at the real right signs, when you look at the red flags, it's pretty easy to know when and when not to take on investment. And when you have a lead generation system that is generating leads on repeat, you will know your business is in a great place. And you will be able to make the decision, do I want to take on investor money to do more of what I'm doing because it's working, or do I continue to run the business this way and grow it more in a bootstrappy way and not have to take on the pressures of profit, not have to take the pressures of partners, things like that. As JD knows, as Paul knows, I'm happy to help as much as I can. So if you want to reach out to me, please do that. I appreciate everybody who joined. We have a wonderful group of people here. I'm so excited about the companies I got to meet today at Startup Lithuania. 13 awesome companies. There's just such a great group of people out there in our space. So we should be out there supporting each other. If you're going to be at South by Southwest EDU, please find me on LinkedIn. Let's meet up. It's my first time. I'm a first timer. So tips and tricks are always appreciated. I just had a call with a guy named Elliot who reached out to me randomly. Not randomly, because he knows I can help him, and I'm going to help him scale his business. And we're going to meet up, but he's been there 6 times. So I'm going to be leaning on Elliot for the best places to go, eat, drink, hang, escape. I hope this has been an escape for you guys for 27 minutes. It always is nice to kind of talk. Next week, we'll have the band back together. Myself and John, I'll be in DC. We'll have more conversation. In the meantime, let's keep supporting each other. And I hope everybody